Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super, how are you?
Oh, it's Friday. I'm awesome. That's how I'm doing. Everything's good. It's always good on Fridays, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Kind of the best day of the week. It's also a great day because we've got an awesome guest. Dr. Sheff is going to be joining me. S-H-E-F-F, not C-H-E-F. But Dr. Sheff has written a book called Joyfully Shattered. Dr. Sheff was an atheist, and now he's a Christian. Aww. And he talks about how he used science to become a Christian. I thought it was a really cool concept for a book, so I was like, yeah, I'll talk to him. Hey, just when you thought you saw everything, Heidi, now you see this. You can have a custom-made Lego head that looks like you. You send about $30 and some photos of yourself to this company, Funky 3D Faces.
$30? That's really not that bad.
And about 2 weeks later, they send you a mini version of your own head that you can smack onto a Lego figurine.
I kind of like that idea.
So, do we need to get a John and Heidi Lego couple?
I was actually thinking for my nephews.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you meant for us.
I would do one of me. That would be awesome.
If we did a John and Heidi Lego couple, I would also have to get a prosthetic belly to stick on the Lego man because they're all skinny. So, I don't know. Coming up, we got some special things to celebrate. We'll tell you what in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, January the 22nd. Today is Answer Your Cat's Questions Day. And I don't have a cat, but I've got a list of questions from cats. First one is, meow. And the answer is, I have no clue. I don't know what that means. Answer Your Cat's Questions Day? What does that mean?
Ridiculous.
It's also Celebration of Life Day.
That
and
I like.
Roe v. Wade Day today as well. So we got a lot of stuff going on today. I'm not exactly sure. What? How do you have both of those on the same day? I think because
those kind of contradict each other.
Well, but that's probably why the Celebration of Life Day was today. They're like, you know what? Let's celebrate our own victory today. All those young babies that did not get aborted. So there you go. Anyway, get out there and celebrate however you want. If your cat has a question, I'm open to answering it. Just reach out to me, and I'll give you some answers. All right. All right. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some fun stories to share. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
You know it's true because you've heard it on the radio. We've heard of long-distance messages, and we all know what it means to litter. But now here's a new thing, long-distance littering. A sailor who sent a message in a bottle out to sea from Long Island, New York, says he got a reply from England from a guy who accused him of littering.
Oh, my gosh.
55-year-old Harvey Bennett said, I kind of felt like no good deed goes unpunished. The plastic bottle was one of 5 that I placed in the ocean off Long Island in August of '06. Less than a year later, he excitedly opened a letter from England and was stunned by the reply. It read, I found your bottle while taking a scenic walk on the beach by Poole Harbor. While you may consider this some profound experiment on the path and speed of oceanic currents, I have another name for it, littering.
Wow.
The letter went on to say, you Americans don't seem to be happy unless you're mucking about somewhere else.
That guy sounds like he needs something happy in his life. He's clearly a very miserable human
It was
being.
signed by a guy named Henry Bigglesworth, who clearly needs to lighten up.
How could you not be uptight with a name like that?
Hey, Bigglesworth, listen to me. It's not like he crunkled up a note and threw it over your fence saying, hey, I just want to see if this made it all the way over the fence.
That's ridiculous.
He put a note in a bottle that made it halfway around the world.
That's pretty cool. I'd like to do that someday. We should do that.
I think so, too. And I'm going to, if I can find out where Henry Bigglesworth lives, I'm going to dump a bunch of bottles with notes in him on his lawn. That'd be funny.
See, now,
you don't think so?
Did he go out like in the middle of the ocean and then drop it? Because if you just threw it in from the shore.
He chucked it in from Long Island. threw a bottle in the water.
But wouldn't the waves just push it right back up to the exact same shore where you
apparently
were
not. He did it while there was a current going out. I have no idea. I don't know the science behind it.
I don't know either. I've always thought it would be really cool to do that, but I just keep thinking
somebody's gonna find it next door.
It would be so frustrating because you'd throw it and it'd come right back, and you'd throw it and it'd come right back.
Your neighbor comes over. Would you quit throwing your garbage in my yard? I don't know. I'm not sure how this works. All right, that's a fun story. A bottle made it all the way to England from Long Island, and you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. In addition to not operating heavy equipment, one should probably not commit burglary while taking medication. Such advice could have maybe meant freedom for one dude in Florida, Patrick Richard Hazel, a resident. Let me try that again. Hi, how you doing? A resident arrived home to find him asleep in his bed, the resident's bed. It's just weird the way I have this written. With a loaded .22 caliber gun, by the way, and other items that he intended to take from the home. Hazel later joined jailers, and he told them that a large number of muscle relaxants before he attempted the crime is probably what made him fall asleep.
What would you take?
He needed to take the edge off. So anyway, he goes in.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And the resident found the burglar laying in the resident's
bed. We read
bed.
that a lot, but I've never heard the burglar say, yeah, it was probably those darn muscle relaxers.
All those muscle relaxers.
Oh,
yeah, I was kind of
man.
nervous about committing this crime, so that's what happened. I almost said criming. I was nervous about criming. I think that's a word, though. We do have your moment of duh coming up, in addition to the one that I just gave. We've got that on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
And we have your moment of duh here. The Daily Telegraph reports that for 30 years, residents of Elmswell, England, were annoyed by truck drivers pulling into their village, blocking streets while they asked for directions to find the bacon factory. So, for all that time, people were saying, we really need to put up a sign. So finally, the city council passed an ordinance saying, you know what, we're going to put up a sign directing people to the bacon factory. This week, a sign finally went up, but there's no celebrating. You know why?
Why?
The bacon factory is closing.
Oh.
So they finally have a sign. They're going to have a sign pretty soon that says, this way is where the bacon factory used to be. I don't know why they're even putting up the sign if it's going away. But that's kind of funny that they finally get it and it's going away.
That's hilarious.
I wonder if that's where Bigglesworth works, the guy from that other story. We had a grumpy man from England in another story. Maybe he lives there and he's the one that's giving out directions. That's why he's so upset. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. If I asked you, who's your favorite beagle, the answer would be?
Snoopy.
All right. That's what everybody says. Almost everybody.
That's the only beagle I can think of.
Exactly. That's probably why. Everybody's favorite beagle has joined the ranks of Hollywood's elite. Now, he has a star on the Walk of Fame. Fans can find the star next to his creator, Charles Schulz. So he's right by the side of Charles Schulz. I think that's the right place for Snoopy. That's really cool. Hey, if you're one of the millions of unlucky players who didn't win the Powerball jackpot, the silver lining is, we talked about this, that you could go to the Gold's Gym. They say that only goes through the 31st. They're saying, hey, they're not getting a lot of people to do it, apparently.
Most
they
people
keep
probably
putting out
crumpled
stories.
up their
like, I didn't win, I
tickets and
threw it
them
away.
or burned them in the front yard.
Yeah, something like that. Or they put them in a bottle and they threw them in Henry Bigglesworth's yard, one or the other. He was the dude in the story earlier. Okay, I'll leave you alone now, Henry. Social workers in Brazil claim they have...
That's a thing we should start.
What's that?
Everybody, take your lottery ticket, put it in a bottle.
Yeah, write a note on it. Probably not. Social workers in Brazil claim they've discovered the world's oldest person, a 131-year-old father of three. He lives with his 62-year-old wife This guy's robbing the
Whoa.
cradle. She's half his
Holy
age almost.
cow.
The workers posted a photo of Joao Coelho de Souza alongside a birth certificate dated March 10th, 1884. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I wonder what he looks like. We should look that up.
Yeah, I'll find it and I'll share it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, because there's no way I'm going to be able to spell this and anybody get it. All right, let me take a look here. It could be that how fat you are is determined not by what you put in your stomach, by what's already there instead. Researchers found that fat people, and fat mice for that matter, have more of a particular kind of a bacteria in their gut than skinny mice and skinny people. They're not sure if more of the bacteria makes you fat or if fat people grow more of the bacteria, but the lead author of the study says, in nature it appears that this microbial component may contribute to obesity. So that's my problem.
Sure it is.
Not the fact that I had 3 cheeseburgers. It's that. It's that bacteria. Did you want another? I'm like, no. Yes, I do. All right. Hey, if you had to come up with $1,000 cash right now, would you be able to do it without borrowing money or using a credit card?
No.
If so, a survey from the National Foundation for Credit Counseling says you are in the minority. According to the survey, 64% of Americans do not have enough cash available to cover a $1,000 emergency. And if you do have that, then like I said, you are in the minority. And you should reach out because, hey, I could use a couple of bucks. I'm just kidding. Don't reach out. All right. Love can naturally lead to marriage, right?
Yeah.
That can naturally lead to physical fitness? Really? Married people are more physically fit than their single counterparts. I don't think so. I
Definitely
disagree.
like to disagree.
Researchers, let's move on to see. Researchers at Stanford University said they believe married couples are more fit because the husbands and wives encourage each other to exercise. That's problem.
That's our problem.
You should encourage me to exercise.
See, when I encourage you to do something, you call it nagging. So I don't think this study is accurate.
I'm sorry. You know, the problem is usually what we encourage each other for is things like, hey, you want to go get something yummy for lunch? Hey, in Springfield, Massachusetts, Daryl Jenkins was arrested on counterfeiting charges, ordered to pay $500 bail. Unfortunately for Daryl, the figure's now been raised to $5,000 because he tried to pay his bail with counterfeit bills.
Oh my gosh, what an idiot.
He was arrested on counterfeiting and then tried to pay his bail on counterfeit bills. Are you kidding me, Daryl?
That's a special kind of stupid.
Yeah, that is a special kind of stupid. All right, let's end things here with our, what do we have here? Our strange law, that's what we call it. Using profanity while talking about country music, singer Loletta Lynn, is illegal in Kentucky. Yeah. And it should be. So there. All right, that's going to do it for your scoop of the day.
Dumb law.
What are you doing? You can't do that. All right, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We've got a special guest joining us today, Dr. Rick Sheff, and he is the author of Joyfully Shattered, A Physician's Awakening at the Crossroads of Science and Spirituality. Dr. Sheff, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you on the program. Now, when did this book come out? Is it just recently come out, or has it been out a little while?
It came out late in 2015, and people have been really enjoying it and happy to share it.
And how long did it take to put this together? Is this quite a process to put together a book like this?
Yes, this was a 7-year process writing this book. It was a 40-year process living the experiences that I share in.
I like that. The thing that's interesting about this, Joyfully Shattered, is kind of designed to answer, can science prove the existence of God or the human soul? So this is a very interesting topic, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's a very important one. I am a scientist and a skeptic. I'm a doctor, practice medicine. Now I work as a consultant to hospitals and healthcare systems around the country trying to help heal healthcare. Along the way, I have had quite a journey because I was raised in a family that I describe as passionately atheist. And I recently was visiting my father, who's 90 years old. I shared that with him. He said, absolutely, still am. So they wear that very proudly. And I knew that to be the truth into my 20s. And then I've had a series of experiences that have taught me the world is not as I learned, either at my parents' knee or in my science classes. and it's been a very exciting journey, and I have not left science behind. I think science is increasingly proving the truth of what today we call spiritual or spirituality.
So what was your personal experience that changed you from an atheist to a person that's pursuing the spiritual path?
Well, it's really a series of experiences, and I share them in the book. The book is filled with stories because I'm really leaving breadcrumbs for others for their own path. Everyone has a unique path, and many people sense there's something more than what they see, than what's out there, and yet they don't want to be too weird about it. And that's where I found I never had to leave science behind. I find that experiences I had, let me share one with you. So my first wife was pregnant with our first child, and she had this relationship. Her name's Marcia, and she had this relationship with Susan, who was another woman pregnant a few months beyond her in her time, and Susan went past her due date and got kind of depressed, and Marcia tried to cheer her up. Well, one morning, 4:30 in the morning, Marcia sits bolt upright in bed, says, Rick, wake up. Susan is in labor. But what? I can tell. Energy is just coursing through my body. I know. Susan is in labor. Okay, call her. I can't. It's 4:30 in the morning. So she eventually gets back to sleep, which was hard for her because of how wired she was. And then she gets up in the morning. Should I call her? Not. The phone rings. It's Susan saying, guess what? I'm in labor. And Marcia said, I know. And it turns out that Susan was awakened with her first contraction at 4:30 in the morning. Susan
Awesome.
didn't know she was in labor until 5 a.m. Marcia knew at 4:30. That, to me, is what I call a data point. It tells me the world works differently. People communicate at a distance. Telepathy is possible. Now let's go figure out the science of that. That's what's exciting.
That story and others are in the book, Joyfully Shattered?
Yes, that story and others that have been all about the journey. And I weave through it the understanding of the science. I've studied philosophy at Oxford, so there's philosophy of science, there's serious science, and yet it's all stories. It's very much for a general audience, and it's great for people who already sense themselves on a path. We have people who say, can I give a book to my husband or my friend who doesn't believe in this stuff to get him to see that I'm not too weird? It's got a lot of uses, and I ultimately hope it helps bring forward the day when we have a new paradigm. Today's scientific materialism paradigm is just not up to explaining what we are finding, both in experiences like I've had and many others have had, but also I share some of the hard science behind it. There's a chapter called When Science Meets God, a glimpse into the coming new paradigm. And I give a relatively brief introduction to that in the book, but there's a free download from my website of an expanded version that really dives into the science. So you can get that at my website at www.RickSheff-MD.com, and it's SHEFF, no C. I told my wife when we got married, you're going to spend the rest of your life saying that Chef, SHEFF, no C.
And again, our guest today is Rick Sheff, and he's the author of Joyfully Shattered. Now, the book it's a fascinating concept to me that it's not just an atheist, but a scientist that is going through this journey, realizing spirituality. So how would you answer if an atheist claimed that science can explain everything without religion or God? What is your answer to that as somebody that maybe thought that at one point in your life?
First of all, I completely understand that perspective from the inside. And there's this wonderful story about a great mathematician known as Laplace, who wrote a book in the early 19th century about the world and how it works. And he gave a copy of it to Napoleon. And Napoleon read it and said, very interesting concepts, but I noticed you wrote an entire book about the world without mentioning the author of the world. And to Napoleon, that was God. And Laplace's response as a true scientist was, I have no need of that hypothesis. And what I have found is that science done well is showing us data points that need some hypothesis about what today we call spiritual. And I think the coming new paradigm will teach us that things we call spiritual today, like the experience I had, like the impact of prayer and intention and other things, are actually the way the world works. It's no more weird than someone in the 1600s thinking at some point we'd have electricity operating at a distance, and even that matter and energy are interchangeable, and we'd have nuclear phenomena. That would be so weird to them. No more weird than what we're proposing now to say this is the coming new paradigm, and there's very exciting science on the frontier.
Personally, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I know we have many listeners that are Christians and believe in God, but I know we also have some that do not, and I love them both just the same. I don't love anybody more just because they believe what I believe, but as a scientist, can science prove the existence of God?
Well, here's where I've gotten to, and this is a journey. I don't think anyone has the ultimate answer. If somebody says, I have the answer, I know the truth, don't trust them, because the thought that the ultimate, whatever that is, in some truly expanded way, can be reduced to our language, our concept, really doesn't do justice to what that is all about. We try and point at it, we try and articulate it in some way, but there is so much more than we can ever understand or articulate. At least that's where I am at this point, while I still buy into science. So here's where I've gotten to on this journey. And I share this in the stories. And the stories are all personal. People cry, they laugh through the book, but the most frequent response I get is they feel inspired by it. I get to the place where everyone has their spiritual journey, their experiences of spirituality, and that needs to be honored. That science is increasingly and will continue to prove the truth of what today we call spiritual. The ultimate nature, existence of God and nature of God, I'm not sure science can prove. We can point to it. We can have inklings about what it's about. I think it is so far beyond human capacity and consciousness to grasp the nature of the ultimate, whether you call it God, the divine source. There are many words for it. It's very exciting, and we can reach for it. As of this point, I doubt science will find its way there in some, another time, ultimate way.
Dr. Rick Sheff has been our guest today. Dr. Sheff, thank you so much for taking some time to visit with us today. It's been a lot of fun to chat with you.
My pleasure.
Now, before we let you go, I got to find out, where can we get a copy of the book? The book is called Joyfully Shattered. Where do I find this?
You can find it on my website, as I said, www.ricksheffmd.com, no C, S-H-E-F-F. But also it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's available in hard copy. It's available in ebook. The audiobook version will be out very shortly. There are others that, people who want to connect and share more about this and hear more about it. There's a blog. There are downloadable meditations on the website. So really trying to create resources for people for their own journey, so that and at some point I'll be offering workshops with this. So I'll put workshop information on the website for people who are interested in coming together to really explore their potential beyond what they think is possible now. Okay. Everyone can be joyfully shattered.
Again, our guest today has been Dr. Rick Sheff. The book is called Joyfully Shattered, A Physician's Awakening at the Crossroads of Science and Spirituality. Again, that is available online at Amazon, and you might check your local bookstore as well. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Did you know the prairie dog is the only North American rodent that can bark? Yeah, a prairie dog. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Right-handed people live on average 9 years longer than left-handed people.
Really?
I think a lot of that has to do with like scissor accidents or something. I'm not sure.
That could be.
All right. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
You are more likely to be killed by a champagne cork than by a poisonous spider.
Huh.
You don't see many people that are afraid of champagne corks, though. But there is one more excuse to avoid weddings.
I actually don't like opening up champagne bottles. That does kind of scare me.
I think it's kind of cool.
It's the anticipation of the noise. Same reason I don't like a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, that's funny. They should have a Jack in the Box that looks like a champagne bottle.
And I also really, really don't like opening cans of biscuits.
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
She makes me open those. She's like, "Can you open these?"
I just hate the anticipation. I jump every single time. And I'm slowly peeling that foil off and then popping every time I jump.
Pop goes the weasel. All right, that's going to do it for your fun facts. Coming up, we've got the rudest thing you can do at work. We're going to tell you what that is, and I bet Heidi will do it. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. What would you say is the rudest thing you can do at work?
Talk about your coworkers.
Let's find out. There's a word from recent Harris Interactive survey for Randstad USA about behaviors that interfere with work performance. Here's the top 9 office etiquette pet peeves. Top 9. Why wouldn't they have done 10?
Maybe there's not 10. Maybe there's only 9.
Here's my pet peeve, not making things
in an even number?
Yeah. Why not do that? I'm going to give you the top 7 reasons. No, give me the top 10. Or drop it to 5. The top 9? Come on, Harris Interactive. All right, number 9 is using your PDA or smartphone during a meeting. 9% said, I hate it when that happens. 11% say personal conversations in the workplace. Take that outside, people. We have a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
Then again, we're married to each other and we work together. So we have a lot of those. 22%, number 7 on the list, using speakerphones in public areas. I don't like that either.
I don't even like to be put on a speakerphone myself. Yeah. I really don't like that at all.
Number 6 on the list of things that peeve people off is cell phones ringing at work. 30% don't like that. 32% dislike loud talkers. 34% dislike micromanaging. 37% gets us to number 3. 37% dislike public reprimands. So if you do something wrong and they call you out in front of everybody, ooh, that is bad. That's not good. Number 2 on the list, being spoken to in a condescending tone, Heidi. 44% don't like that, Heidi. Did you know that, Heidi? So don't do that, Heidi. You don't do that.
I don't do that. You do that.
The number 1 on the list. What do you think it is? Oh, did you just see it?
I did just see it, but I know that it's cussing.
Yeah, using profanity in the workplace. 91% disagree or dislike that. That's the biggest pet peeve, where somebody's, dropping F-bombs or doing things where they're using profanity in the workplace. Now, you used to work at a place where everybody did that.
Well, yeah, it was. I was the title clerk at a dealership, so I worked around mechanics all day, every day, which is where I got my potty mouth from.
So there you go. That was the biggest pet peeve. 91%, according to this survey.
It's hard to break once you get that. I mean, it's hard to break it.
Yeah. Well, you have to on the radio. So
yeah,
there you
I
go.
know.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This is kind of interesting. A Methodist church in Mississippi came up with a good recipe for patrons of 3 restaurants to say a blessing before their meals at this restaurant. For the last 4 months, Epworth United Methodist Church placed laminated cards on the table of Jackson Eateries with a brief prayer encouraging diners to thank God for their food. The United Methodist News Service reported the cards that were placed in small stands next to the salt and pepper and hot sauce have drawn a positive response from the owners of the restaurants, who are not associated with the church, by the way. One business owner even said, our business has picked up since we started putting these blessings on the table. So that's kind of a neat thing.
That is neat. I like that.
So that's really kind of a cool thing. And the nice thing is, it's not like they're saying, we're not bringing your food until you do this. It wasn't even the restaurant's idea. These people bought a little ad on there, but that's what they use it for. So what a cool idea.
That's a good idea. And we do say grace at home.
Yeah.
But we don't when we're in restaurants or whatever. So we should really probably start doing that,
kind
too.
Of a cool idea. Hey, did you ever know that you're my hero? I'm going to tell you that story coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
I've got a hero story, Heidi.
I like hero stories.
A Berlin florist stopped an out-of-control bus by allowing her car to be smashed into.
Oh.
Gabrielle Klinik is a hero for driving in front of an out-of-control bus. It was going 45 miles an hour. The driver had collapsed at the wheel from a stroke. His foot was on the pedal. She saw what was going on and decided, you know what? I don't want that bus getting to that busy intersection. She placed her Nissan Almera. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's because this is in Berlin. Maybe that's a German vehicle. I've never seen a Nissan Almera. Anyway, got in between her and the intersection, and she hit the brakes, waiting to be rammed. She said, I saw it as the only way to slow this bus down. I passed the bus, and I could see the driver slumped over the wheel. I put on my brakes in front and waited for the bus to hit me. When it rammed into the back of me, I kept my brakes on until the bus got slower and slower and finally stopped after about a half a kilometer.
Wow.
Police say that she prevented a disaster and saved the life of the 50-year-old driver. The bus was headed for one of the busiest intersections during rush hour traffic in an evening. According to the police, loss of life and multiple injuries would have most likely been inevitable if she hadn't done this.
That's pretty amazing.
Because a florist in a Nissan pulled in front of a bus and stopped it. That's awesome. Flower power for that florist. So very cool. Coming up, we're going to talk about your favorite processed foods. This is going to make you feel good. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
You know, there's a lot of people that eat like only organic or naturally grown things. We're not those people.
We're not those people.
It's not that I have anything against them. I'd love to do that. I just don't. But I have a list from the web here of the worst and most unhealthy processed foods, and I'm reading through this.
A lot of them are stuff we eat on a regular basis.
Going through my cupboards. One that we don't do very often, but we do this, and we'll probably have in the next month at least one time, spray can easy cheese. This stuff is not good for you. Has an amazing texture.
Is there anybody out there who thought this was healthy?
I thought it was a health food.
It's cheese.
Wait a minute. This isn't organic easy cheese? Stain removing chemical trisodium phosphate is in there even. You can use that to get out stains. Didn't know that. Anyway, and they say a lot of people load easy cheese.
Yeah, oddly enough, if you get that on your clothes, it stains.
I don't know. I've never gotten any. I don't let it get past the mouth. Anyway, they say one of the reasons that it's so unhealthy is because people usually would put about half as much cheese if they were cutting the cheese, but when they're squirting the cheese, they double down on that cracker with the easy cheese stuff. Oreo cookie death filling. Oreo stuffing is basically sugar-flavored Crisco. So if you eat Oreos or anything like those. Condensed soups. Really? I like condensed soups. But there's a lot of sodium. Way too much stuff in there. So there's a whole lot of reasons for not liking that. Spam. It's a meat-like goo that derives 80% of its calories from fat and delivers a whopping 790 mgs of sodium per 2-ounce serving. Your dad likes that stuff.
We're going to go to the Spam Museum this weekend.
We're going to check that out. Hey, and artificially flavored blueberry bits. They're found in frozen waffles. Those things are not good for you. And the last one on the list is Kraft's avocado-free guacamole. There's no avocados in Kraft's guacamole. What's it made of, you ask? How about some modified food starch, coconut, soybean oils, corn syrup, and food coloring? In other words, you're eating a green-colored oil, basically. So that's not so good. So there's a whole list of those.
I don't like guacamole, so I don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to end with some good news because that probably wasn't good news. But we got some good news that is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
I always try to wrap this program up with something positive, and I search high and low to find good stories. I've got a couple of good stories, but I'm only going to get to one of them today. But I thought this is the winner.
Okay.
U.S. organ transplants surpassed the 30,000 milestone in 2015. So
Really?
You might want to ask why.
Why?
Hey, thanks for asking why. Because Americans are increasingly willing to donate their organs. According to a Time report, doctors performed a record 30,973 transplants of kidneys, livers, and other organs last year, 5% more than 2014. According to the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network, the number of organ donations has been on a steady incline for the last decade, but the number of people waiting for organs currently, because we just talked about 30,000, over 30,000 were donated last year.
Right.
The number of people on the waiting list, how big do you think that number is?
I bet it's huge.
121,700 patients.
Wow.
still far outnumbers the people willing to donate. The network estimates that 22 people in the country die every day waiting for transplants.
Why would you not be willing to donate?
I don't know.
What are you going to do with them?
This is one of the things that I wanted to do is at the end of the program here, encourage people to become an organ donor. Now, here's the thing. You can't just say, yeah, I'll do that. You need to let somebody know as well, because when the time comes...
and in a lot of states, right on your driver's license, they ask
that
you,
doesn't,
do you want to be an organ donor?
But there's got to be more to it. You need to talk to your family. You need to make sure that you let others in your life know that, hey, you know what?
But I would think if you had
happen,
already said that yourself on your driver's license, then your family would know this is what they wanted.
Okay, but have the conversation. If I died, would you donate my organs?
Of course.
Would my organs be worth donating?
I'm sure some of them would. I can think of one in particular.
Slightly, my heart, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Got a slightly used kidney over here. Anyway, if there are people out there that have not made the decision to become an organ donor, you should check into this and do your research and see. It's a great idea. There are a lot of people out there that are on this list. 121,000 people on the list right now. 30,000, almost 31,000 people donated last year. So it's something that's a simple and easy thing to do, and get all the details and talk to your family and think that one over. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Have a great weekend.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. More than a dozen photographers who specialize in capturing... Oh, I should probably tell you more about the Dollar Shave Club first. You just looked at me really funny. You can learn more about them at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now I'll jump into that story. Can you tell I'm in a hurry?
Yeah, I can.
I got like 1 foot out the door. More than a dozen. It's a Friday. I mean, I just want to go. More than a dozen photographers who specialize in capturing creatures lurking in the deep ocean blue.
Ocean?
Yeah. They took home over... I should quit trying to read fast. They took home over 70,000 prizes last year. No, 70...
What are you talking about?
I don't know. They took over $70,000 in prizes last year.
Okay.
At the 2015 Ocean Art Underwater Photo Competition. That's a thing. The contest, organized by the Underwater Photography Guide, that's a thing too, is in its 5th year. It attracts photographers from more than 50 countries. Photographer Jim Milzen snapped his winning best of show image of a larval cusk eel while diving in the Kilikona, Hawaii area.
Huh.
You can see the photos on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, and you can read the story the way it was supposed to be read, because I am pretty sure
I do like to see underwater pictures.
Yeah,
there are some
cool.
interesting things down there that you just don't, that I'll never see, because I will never go back in the ocean ever
Yeah, she
again.
was pulled under by the current in Mexico.
Oh my gosh, that was awful.
Yeah, and I was swimming and splashing around having fun, and some dude came running over and yanked her out of the water. I'm like, hey, where are you going? I thought you were having fun.
That was awful.
Like I was drowning. I was like, is that why you kept shouting my name? I thought you were saying, hey, look at me, look at me. Oh, this is so fun. I'm in the ocean.
So I'll just enjoy that beauty through photographs from now on.
I'd go back in the ocean. I'd do it in a second. Hey, I got some cheesy pickup lines that are probably not very effective. Hi, my name is Wright, Mr. Wright. Would you go for that one?
No.
Did you hear the latest health report? You need to up your daily intake of vitamin me.
Oh, my gosh.
No? I didn't know that Miss America lived here. I noticed you noticing me, and I'd like to notify you that I noticed you too.
Wow, that one sounds extremely arrogant.
Mm. Can I have your pictures so I can show Santa what I want for Christmas?
Oh, that one's cute. That one probably would get me.
Are you Jamaican? Because you Jamaican me crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
Could you do me a favor and tell your boyfriend he's a lucky man? Are you the tiger on the Frosted Flakes box? Because you look great.
Oh, my gosh.
If I had a nickel for every time I saw a woman as beautiful as you, I would have 5 cents right now. Apparently that means...
one's kind of sweet because he's never seen anyone as
Girl,
beautiful.
you must have a license to drive me crazy. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
Oh, man.
My last name is Visa because I'm everywhere you want to be.
That one sounds creepy.
These are pickup lines.
That one sounds creepy.
I'm not single. I haven't used pickup lines in a long time. I don't think I've ever used pickup lines. I think when I first met you, what did I say? What was the first thing I ever said to you? Like, how you doing? I think it's probably what I said. That's how smooth I was, folks. My friends want to know if you think I'm cute. That's a pickup line, apparently. Your smile is as sweet as sunlight. I've seen you at the grocery store, baby. You're always in the same aisle as a sugar because you're so sweet.
Oh my gosh, that one's stupid.
Okay, I'm here. What's your next 2 wishes?
That one I've heard. That one kind of cracks me up.
And you're so sweet, you give me a toothache. There you go. I got another list for you, and then I'm splitting because it's Friday. This is, you know you're a mom when, see, I'm not a mom, so I don't know any of these.
Okay.
You know you're a mom when your feet stick to the kitchen floor and you just don't care.
That's pretty much true.
You know your mom when the kids are fighting and you threaten to lock them in a room together and not let them out until someone's bleeding. I think you've done that too. You know your mom when you can't find your cordless phone, so you ask a friend to call you and you run around the house madly following the sound until you locate the phone downstairs in a laundry basket. I
think that's pretty much everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
pretty
not
much.
finding it in the laundry basket, but...
You know your mom when you spend an entire week in sweatpants. I think we've both done that too. You know your mom when the idea of a good day is making it through without children leaving bodily fluids on you. You know your mom when popsicles become a staple food. You know your mom when your favorite TV show is a cartoon. When peanut butter and jelly is eaten at least 1 meal a day. If you're willing to kiss your child's boo-boos, regardless of what body part it happens to be on. Got a story I could share about that. Has my mother ever shared that story with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we should probably share that.
No, I'm not saying we should because it's not a good story, but I didn't know if she'd ever shared that with you. Let's just say when I was a little boy, I had a toilet seat accident. And I had a boo-boo.
She wasn't willing to kiss
No.
it, though.
She's like, I think you're going to be all right. That was the last time I asked for a boo-boo kiss, by the way. Well, until I got married, I was like, hey, Heidi, will you kiss my boo-boo? Hey, you're so, you know you're a mom when you're so desperate for adult conversations, you'll spill your guts to a telemarketer so he won't hang up on you. You know you're a mom when you spit your phone, when spit is your number one cleaning agent. There we go. Oh, yeah. When you spit on things to wipe it off. I've seen that. You know your mom when you're up each night until 10, vacuuming, dusting, wiping, washing, drying, loads, unloading, shopping, cooking, driving, flushing, ironing, sweeping, picking up, cleaning, etc. until 10 p.m. every night. And you know your mom when you get up at 5:30 a.m. and you have no time to eat, sleep, drink, or go to the bathroom until somebody... And you still manage to gain 10 pounds. There you go. I'm struggling to read these.
Yeah, you are.
And
really.
the last one is, you know your mom when you're the closest...
Jeez.
It's Friday. Can I just go now?
You can go.
The closest you get to gourmet cooking is making Rice Krispie bars.
There you go.
I like that one. We haven't made those in a long time.
We haven't.
We should. Those are good. Our kids are older now. They don't ever ask for that kind of thing.
We're going to take a little weekend trip this weekend. Maybe we'll make some Rice Krispie bars
That'd
and
be
take them
kind of
along.
fun. Hey, I'm game. Time now for your bonus break to be over, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more about those guys at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.